So Liberals now sit at 174 seats. That's enough for a majority in the House of Commons.
Yesterday, voters placed their trust in Canada's new government's plan. We accept their support with humility, determination, and a clear understanding of what this moment demands for our country. I think very clearly Canadians want government to govern, to take action on immediate concerns. Canadians have placed their trust in this government. We have a responsibility to live up to that, work every day to implement our policies, the right plan for the country, to grow the country, and that's what we're going to do.
Citizens, great to have you guys. Wonderful day. Jeremy?
Indeed, wonderful snowy day up here in Calgary, Alberta.
Not sure if you guys care at all, but Calgary is getting 30 centimeters of snow on April 16th. It is beautiful. And it was
beautiful
crazy.
Looking. It's horrible.
Yeah.
We're so done with it.
It was nuts. So moving on from that, we've had a lot of changes this past week in Canada. I'm not sure if you have been following the news, but our government has moved from a minority government into a majority government. And
official this week.
So essentially, Carney and the Liberals have moved away from managed gridlock as they were hitting this whole time. And there's a Liberal control. Also, at the same time, we're seeing constraints more and more on energy and instability as you're looking through Strait of Hormuz with President Trump and Iran and U.S. and all of that's going on. And I want to get a little bit to some of the trade conversations that have been happening.
Impact and stuff. Doesn't it feel like, it feels like the season we're in has been like a year, 2 years of insane news cycle. Yeah. But has it just always been that way and we just feel it?
It might be that we're just way more involved with it. Possibly. I don't want to be naive to that. No, but there is a lot that is going on. When you just have President Trump behind in the Oval Office, there's automatically going to be, especially compared to sleepy Joe Biden. When you have that, right, that makes such a trend. That's such a big difference. So for sure, he's causing.
Are you already connected to the thing? Why don't we show our citizen post?
Which one?
Just did.
Which one?
Moses.
I want to get to that a little bit in the show.
Yeah. Okay. One of our posts. If you don't follow us, join us on X, on Instagram, on YouTube. Make sure you follow us everywhere because there's still some.
It might be one of our favorite posts, but that's part of the show we're going to get to down the road. President Trump apparently unknowingly depicted himself as the Messiah healing people.
Do you believe him? I don't know. Like there's sometimes my thoughts are on him. Sometimes is that he's I was thinking about this the other day. He's in such a vacuum chamber of praise as a president, as a billionaire, as a man of power, the highest power on the planet. Like as far as the United States president goes, that messes with you. Not to mention he's probably a narcissist. Most presidents are on the scale of personalities, and so when somebody sends him something like that, he's just like, "Well, that's correct." Yes,
there's definitely a majority of yes men around him. But we're going to get to that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're going to talk about Carney's majority and what that actually means for Canada, because now apparently he can walk forward unhindered, and we're going to see he's got really no more excuses to see if there's actually effects and changes for Canadians. That's a big one. I do want to talk about what does this mean for Conservatives. Pierre Poilievre, as the leader, there's a lot of people have been calling and questioning, should he continue on as leader? Obviously, multiple straight lost elections against Justin Trudeau, and then also Mark Carney, and the by-elections. We will get to the by-elections that happened this past week, because the real question of that is, where were the Conservative voters? They dropped off the face of the earth. Yeah. They did not show up. Yeah. So got to get to that. It's going to be an important one as well. Talked about Carney being unhindered. That's another point that we will get to. Iran, what that means for Canada, what's happening there as well. The AI image, we talked about that already. So those are the issues we're going to be getting to today. I'm not sure if you saw, maybe we'll start off in this point, but speaking of floor crossers and majority, Marilyn Gladu, who was the Conservative most recent floor crosser to the Liberals, she had her debut this past week.
Well, and I don't think people understand how conservative she is. So she ran for leadership of the Conservative Party. Just let that sink in for a second.
Did she really?
Yes.
I missed that.
She ran for leadership. So like that's the person who just crossed the floor.
Yeah.
She's extremely conservative. In fact, she's arguably one of the most conservatives of the party.
Yep.
As far as her stances go. So then there's been clips of her discussing her stance on pro-life, pro-choice, where she's at. She's been a very, very firm pro-life. And now she seems to have even flipped on that stance in a matter of 14 days. from Take Your Seat.
My goodness.
So it's all odd.
And a backbencher, by the way. I'm not sure if she had an actual delegation within the Conservative Party, but I know she's a Liberal backbencher, which is just your standard MP.
Member of Parliament. It's just so that's again all the whole idea of the system. I think you and I've been discussing the system over the last little while. That the system seems flawed. That it's based largely on self-preservation. I think that's what we're seeing in these floor crossings. Is they go where power seems to be, and they preserve themselves.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why. You said it right there. Self-preservation, I think, is a big motivation. Obviously, of power. There could be other things behind the scenes that possibly are there. I think for sure they have.
I think we're
others.
Seeing some writing on the wall.
It's just no one's ever going to write it out, and they're going to be hidden as best as possible. But interesting with Carney and a majority, because that really changes the whole dynamic in Ottawa, right? When you do have a minority government, he's hitting nonstop friction. You got to constantly be whipping votes, so to speak, for what you want to do. Now you have a majority, right? Now you're basically, you can operate with velocity. You can operate at a fast pace. All the things that Carney ran on and wants to do, you should be able to do unhindered. So in theory, clips you're showing me, I'll show you in a little bit, of him saying, we're going to decrease the deficit. We're going to build Canada homes, which I want to get to. There's a report.
To not now.
In theory, we should be seeing Canada get better if what he says is actually going to make Canada better. And because he can do it unhindered at this point. So anyways, it's important to start off with
Marilyn's clip.
No, we'll get there in a second. I want to tee it up. Do you have it? Can you pull it?
I don't.
I'll pull it up in a second. So Liberals now sit at 174 seats.
I have this, though. I want to show this.
Which one's that one?
Which is so perfect for what you're saying right now.
Let's get that in 10 seconds. That's such a great clip. We're going to entertain you guys in 10 seconds here. So Liberals now sit at 174 seats. That's enough for a majority in the House of Commons. The 3 by-election wins that happened, this is the crazy thing. You have Terrebonne, Scarborough, Southwest, and University Rosedale. I'm gonna give you the percentage of the votes that went through the Conservatives. Okay? Terrebonne, I'm saying that wrong, don't have a French accent, 3.3%.
Can you try with an accent?
Terrebonne.
That's pretty good.
Is that right?
I act like I'm authority. I have no idea.
French-speaking
I am French. I should know. I do not speak
French. Terrebonne, 3.3%. Scarborough, Southwest, 18.8%. And then you had 12% in University Rosedale. Compare that to Liberals of 64%, 69%, and 46%. Absolute. Now, I can't remember exactly what previous elections were off the top of my head, but the point was, and if you look through all these, the Conservatives did not even show up compared to how they showed up in those ridings really in the election, which was 1 year ago in April. It was down, I believe, top of my head, one of them was originally 6,000 votes, and 1,800 votes showed up for this by-election with an actual minority majority on the line. So what does that speak to? That is something internally, Conservatives, not just Pierre Poilievre, strategy teams, they all got to be asking the question, what happened? Are the voters, was it just bad weather? Are they discouraged with the state of the party? Are they liking what the Liberals are doing? And maybe they switched over and voted for Liberals because Carney's appealing to Canadians, and I don't think the results are there at all, and it's a year in. So these are questions that have to be answered.
Do you have the numbers of votes, actually, besides percentage? I wonder if that'd be an interesting to look into. I wonder if we can search up that.
Paul, if you can text that'd be great, because I'm going to queue up something else.
I'd be curious turnout. Because percentages are just deceiving.
Find us of those three by-elections if you can. But the interesting thing is, though, this majority that Carney has wasn't built at the ballot box, right? It wasn't built as a voting machine like they want it. What a lot of people are saying, fair and square, even though it's legal and it's part of our system, it's not fair and square, right? 5 floor crossings. 4 Conservatives and 1 NDP. The NDP was she from Nunavut or was she from Northwest Territories? One of the two.
None of it.
And that one also was super sketchy. So,
well, and then also in Marilyn's own words, a floor crossing should trigger a by-election. And then she crossed the floor with no by-election.
Okay, it's either one of two things. It should automatically trigger a by-election. Let the voters decide. Or if you want to, because you truly believe your party is not accomplishing what it should be for your constituents, you become an independent. You cannot cross to another party. You got to stick as an independent for a certain amount of time until a by-election or next election.
Because in Marilyn's constituency, it was one of the most conservative ones. Like that's That's why her stance and her being the most conservative stance got voted in. So and that's been that way for a long
Since 04. Since
long
2004, that's the last time the Liberals held that
22
seat.
years, yeah. Wow.
So what did 24, 25, where were we?
22.
22 years. Long time. Yeah, 22. There's good math. But the thing is crazy is that it's constitutional, but
I know.
it's legal, but it's also politically loaded because there is no real, even though that system, if you read into it, was supposed to be a little bit of a check and balance system within our Constitution to protect constituents in specific ridings, there is actually no check and balance system to see, is it legitimate? Meaning, my opinion with Marilyn Gladu, complete outright lie in her statement, I have consulted my constituents and they want to see change. It's like that is a complete opposite of what the vote turnout showed 1 year ago. So, but there's no check and balance system to prove that.
There's too much open-ended to that. I think, I'll bet you she says it in a clear conscience because she probably talked to a couple. Like, you know what I mean? That's the political world where it's slippery. It's true technically because she spoke with a few.
So I'm not one that criticizes or am upset with Carney for doing that. I think he's operating within the game system.
Either side would do that. Conservative would do the same thing.
He knows the rules and he knows what he wants to accomplish and he's trying to get what he wants to get done. And you know what? If he's recruiting, of course, if there's illegal activity and bribery and stuff that can be proved, bad dude. We don't do that. But at the same time, when you're going through this, he's operating within the system. So I don't blame him for
100%. The Conservatives, any other party would do the exact.
The thing that I'm concerned about, though, is you have Canadians, do they feel that the government that governs this country actually represents them?
Yeah.
Right?
No, I know. That's the real question.
And there's a lot of nuance in there, too.
And that the floor crossings do not represent that. That's the real issue at hand here.
Yeah.
Is floor crossing does not represent the people that voted them in. That's a huge, huge problem.
Yeah.
I want to show this clip if you're...
Let's see it. Cue it up.
Congrats, Liberals. Canada loves us again. Balance has been restored to the universe.
Yes. Woo! Go team. Congrats, everybody. Congrats. Yeah.
Pierre, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm a Liberal now. Yeah. I crossed the floor, right? Yeah. Sorry. Transitioned. I know you guys like to say stuff like that.
You crossed the floor to become a Liberal.
Yeah. Everyone else in my caucus was doing it, so I thought, what kind of leader would I be if I didn't follow?
Really? Okay.
Such a good line.
If you're a Liberal, what do you see in this picture?
3 strangers meeting for the first time.
It's a mixed race family.
Oh, I have one of those.
This feels superficial.
No, it's not. I'm a Liberal. See? Got the socks.
We don't do that anymore.
The Trudeau socks.
Show them.
Yeah. Show them.
Black sock, Navy. This is Parliament, not the Ottawa Blues Fest. Get out. Welcome to Pierre. I'll open. Who's got ideas?
Oh, I've got an idea. Being a Liberal is easy. Watch this. Refugees in. Let's get more of them. And then let's just give them money.
That is not what...
Ooh, got another great idea. Less houses. Huh? Yeah? Liberaling is so easy.
Pierre,
Liberaling.
I think we should recap the rules.
Right, sorry.
1, don't interrupt Daddy.
Let's go for
2,
the rules.
Carney equals Daddy. 3, just have fun. What? No, that's the old guy.
That's the old guy.
Justin Trudeau's
Got it?
policies. Just have fun.
Oh, that's good, eh?
That's so good.
Gosh.
Just have fun. Man.
That's so
awesome.
funny.
Yeah, I got to queue up a Maryland clip here.
Don't interrupt Daddy. Carney equals Daddy. Oh, the thing I love about comedy is that it exposes truth. That's the only reason why something is funny is because there's truth seeded all throughout it. And we need comedy. We need stuff like that to kind of level the playing field so we humanize each other and see both sides.
Well, the truth in that clip, there's multiple truths.
There's so many.
Which we'll say is the criticism of Pierre, especially when it comes to, because lately he's been hitting up all the biggest podcasters, right? Yeah. Whereas a year ago, you could argue someone who's leading and charging the way, you go and do that, but it wasn't politically safe, so we didn't. But now it's politically safe. That's more of a follower mentality. I'm not saying he's a follower because I think Pierre has got a lot of great things.
That's what they're picking at.
But that's what they're picking. And then the whole Carney thing is, so I love the daddy thing. I can just imagine people Carney's the new mature daddy within the whole liberal. Okay, here. I want to get to Marilyn Gladu's debut in the House of Commons, sporting red.
Yeah, bright red.
I will say she is very peppy, and she's ready to rock. So here we go. Let's hope the technology holds up for myself.
Not.
Spin this sideways. Here we go. Let's see what
During this time of geopolitical volatility, when we never know when the next major shock is coming, we need serious leadership and a real plan to build a strong and more independent Canadian economy. Since the conflict in the Middle East began, this global volatility has impacted the wallets of Canadians. We need more direct support for them.
She reading to
Yesterday
class
morning,
kids?
we saw just that. Can
She
the
what?
Secretary
Reading
of
to a
State
class of
inform
children where your
Canadians how our
inflections are?
new government is bringing
sounds
down
like it.
costs for essentials at home in the face of instability abroad?
It must feel so inauthentic, like schizophrenic almost. Like it's just like so flippy floppy. It causes us to reflect on the whole system of like, this is just a giant. They're playing house. So
Well,
ridiculous.
this is a lot of Canadians' criticisms of the House of Commons and the debate back is that it's theater. It's almost like you're living in a different world. When did you catch her last line there?
No.
Of working, we are. I'll play it right here. Last line.
Yesterday morning, we saw just that. Can the Secretary of State inform Canadians how our new government is bringing down costs for essentials at home in the face of instability abroad?
How they're bringing down costs of essentials. Has that happened? Do we actually have
I don't know.
data showing that? We don't. Not yet. And we, in fact, a lot of the latest numbers have been showing the opposite.
What is she
So
referring
my point is, they make these big statements that are slogan type that sound good, that for the average Canadian who won't do a deep dive and good, average cost is coming down.
Outrageous.
But it's just not true unless they are coming from a perspective compared to like it's coming down since yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, but not overall where it really matters. And what really matters is you look at the crazy costs. You look at the cost of living. We've been over this 100 times. I don't need to name it. That's risen over the last 10, 15 years. And the fact that you don't see a real strategic shift with that. So, and the other interesting thing, she mentioned instability. This is going to take me to my next point, and I'm going a little off track here. But talk about instability abroad.
Well, even like I just quickly looked up in chat to see what stats are there for essentials over the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2010, prices are up 42% in essentials.
Yeah.
42%. Something groceries that cost 100 now cost 142. And then like it's outrageous. Rent went up 28.5% since 2020 alone. A single person spends on essentials between $3,300 to $3,800 a month. A family between $5,900 to $6,400 nationwide. These numbers are outrageous.
Huge.
I don't know what she's talking about.
So I wanted to show that and compare it. It took me a second to find this clip. So she said within instability abroad, and she's obviously talking about what we have going on with U.S. and Iran and the different geopolitical issues that U.S. has been making, which, by the way, we'll get to that later because I want to talk about the strategic nature of, is Trump actually trying to create a greater North America stronghold that's self-sustaining, that kind of shields off from China and the rest? Or is this just kind of craziness? The problem, so the issue here, though, we've got CUSMA coming up, Canadian, United States, Mexico agreement. Mm-hmm. It is I think, the single most important trade document, call it in the world, but also for Canada, probably for Canada, because we've got, with the biggest economy in the world, of U.S., an amazing trade deal. That I shouldn't say amazing. There's a lot of great things in it. No, it is. It's been amazing for Canada to be able to do what we do with the United States. Carney, in the wake of President Trump and the whole 51st state joking and playing around and serious nature of it, whatever it is, and what Trump is doing all over, has said this whole elbows up. We're going, and also remember his whole speech at Davos, and we're going to, it's the end of there's going to be a new world order, which his wife echoed most recently at the Liberal convention. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see it.
And he's trying to make this middle power conglomerate, so to speak, with 30 to 40 nations that will become collectively larger in the United States. I think it's a pipe dream to actually make that work, because I can see the United States picking those guys off one by one to trade with the U.S. and all that. The point is, you should be focusing on creating an amazing relationship with the United States going forward. There's
question.
no question on that. So not only military stance, not only when it comes to trade, not only comes to oil. And Carney, you want to settle a little bit of what's happening with Alberta independence, and you want to show some good faith there. Well, you could be negotiating with the states to figure out pipelines. They want to do it. You can figure out remove Bill C-69, do all the things. My point is, there is next to no negotiations going on leading up to this, although we've heard otherwise from that government. Jasmine Lane, she interviewed the U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra recently. And I want you to listen. I'm going to play the first minute of this because he basically calls out Canada on no negotiations. They haven't been here, so watch this.
Yeah, I made a comment months ago about, and I love how it gets twisted here in Canada.
I don't even think you're going to answer this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you feel as though there is something happening intentionally, or is it actually just a really intense negotiation and it's normal for this to kind of be the rhetoric and fallout?
No, actually, it's not an intense negotiation. Okay, there really have been no serious negotiations since October of last year. And that's now betrayal.
That's an interesting point.
Betrayal?
I haven't heard it explained like that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
We watch this, okay? Talking about, with a smile and a smirk, they're proud of that. They're proud of the fact that they're hurting people in Kentucky. Okay. We want to resolve the dispute on steel. As a matter of fact, we had that pretty much resolved in October. And the Canadians blew that up. Okay? It wasn't the Americans. The Canadians did.
But he had said, and I quote, "It started quietly. People."
Oh, you don't have to. I have
okay.
it.
You're gonna quote.
I have it.
You got it.
Well, I think I got into that once before, and all I got into was trouble.
And I was hoping that today was mostly going to be nostalgic and really cool. And then there was a whole lot of stuff that happened over the last 72 hours or so.
I think I heard over the weekend that nostalgia was bad.
Yes. And hope is not a plan. And
Yeah.
the relationship has been quoted as
They're referring
a
to Carney's
rupture.
comments.
It's a dangerous, divided world, with the insinuation being that that's due to America. We have a hinge moment. The government has even referenced the fall of the Berlin Wall a number of times when describing the situation.
So you get the point there. So interesting comments coming from Peter Hoekstra, the U.S. ambassador there, Canadian ambassador.
I think the giant thing is, philosophically speaking, Carney's philosophy on politics, or Canadians' position in politics, is just worlds apart from Trump's philosophy. And those two worlds don't coexist. In order for Carney to do and please his relationships and friends and in WEF, in Eastern, like European countries, they just don't align at all. So Trump's trying to do an entirely different thing than what Carney is trying to do, and they don't coexist. Like, that's what we're seeing, which is why I think what our logical minds think is work with the U.S., figure things out. We need their protection. We need to figure out oil. It's out to lunch. Like, even every time oil comes up, when we're paying nearly $2 here in Calgary, it just floors me that we're sitting on the oil here. We're sitting on it, and we're paying $2 a liter. It's just outrageous. I don't understand it. And we're bringing 11 tankers a day to the East Coast. Like, nothing green about that. So it's the least green thing you could possibly do, is to ship it across the planet on tankers. It's far worse than drilling.
A great conversation. I'm not gonna say his name because he's heavily in the oil and gas sector here in Calgary. And I said, "Would you come on?" He goes, "I have to check my company to be okay to talk about it." So we're talking about oil and gas. He gave me a lot of really interesting insight regarding the flow of oil out and the hang-ups that we're having in Canada. And there are serious hang-ups. There are issues in Alberta, call it landlocked, provincial disagreements. That's an understatement, with David Eby essentially killing anything you want to do. But one thing I asked him about the existing pipelines we have, and he was making comments how Eby is saying things. You can just pump more. You can just do this. And he goes, you can, but you don't want to. You actually want a certain level of flow going through the pipelines because it actually helps Canada better in terms of price balancing. It's not just about 100% maximum output. I don't want to go into
it's supply and demand. You're
essentially,
managing it.
but more pipelines at the same flow helps more money come in, keeping the price. Because if you just pump more, anyways, we had talked for an hour and a half, and at the end, I'm like, would you come on and explain this? Because he opened up my eyes to where I'm like, wow, it's more than just the surface stuff that you and I say because we don't know a lot about it. But there's some serious issues. We talk about the 10 or 11 refineries we have across Canada, and there is room for more, but also a lot of the issues we have on ones in the east. Obviously, we don't even get our crude oil, the one that we have here over across there. There's so many issues that we have.
We need to do that.
Maybe we'll actually
just
just
get
blur
him
him
on.
out.
I know. Maybe we'll call him after this.
Because
if we blur him out, change his voice, again, it wouldn't affect his business, I'm sure.
But for me, it was just like, my goodness, I learned so much from
I
that.
know.
Anyways, we're not really teaching you guys anything on that. Sorry for kind of just.
No, but I think
was interesting
it's
on
how
that,
we
so.
should look at all these situations. Is I knowingly say ignorant statements to the limited knowledge I have. I just like, but
But for
we
me,
want
but for
answers
me,
to that though.
It's supported though. Typically everything that we have been talking about and looking through in the sense of, and also this is what Alberta independence is founded on too. Not just exclusively this. We know everyone. Don't get upset in the comments. It's more than just oil and money.
Of course.
But
It's what
that-
affects our pocketbook the most right now.
Yes, generally though, is that there's a massive case that we are completely underserving what we have.
Yeah.
Huge.
Have you seen? There's this Instagram video I came across. I wish I would have had it here, but this guy's like, I don't care about gas prices, and of course you're like, what do you mean you don't care? He's like, until walking is the only viable option I have, I don't care. I'm a victim to it. There's nothing that changes it. He's like, so it comes and goes. I have to pay it. He's like, what do? I don't know what to do. I'm a victim to it. So until I'm willing to walk 50, 60 kilometers a day, he's like, I just pay it. I don't care. And I was like, yeah. Like, what is the point? What is the point where people park cars? What is the point where we start just taking, like, how expensive does it get? That's the real question where I'm like, because other things are suffering. Debt load's getting higher. You have to pull back in other areas. Like affordability, just no vacations, no, like life shifts. You shift in one way or another. But I was like, what is the point?
Well, people are going to keep paying.
Yeah, majority of them. Yeah.
Well, you might curtail how much you drive,
Mhm.
or I'm not going to do that, or
sure.
we're going to start carpooling, or. But you're right. That's like
So many people are living
it's
on
going
the
to
edge,
take a
though.
lot for me to start walking.
Like the truck I just bought, the reason he sold, gas.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, so what are you selling? He's like, I drive too much. It costs me too much. I'm just getting a cheaper car on gas. And I was like, well, I'm glad that you're selling it to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy. But isn't that crazy?
I want to bookmark this. Paul, can I give your prediction, Paul? I think it's kind of crazy, but I want to give Paul's prediction. Did you read it?
No, what?
Producer Paul, he texted you and I saying, bookmark this. No, and then he followed up a couple days later saying, it's happening. Number one, Mark Carney was planted by the U.S. He does not care by left or right. He's all about business. Number two, the federal government will vote on loosening red tape on oil production, and oil production will loosen because the U.S. needs Canada's oil sooner than later. Number three, Alberta separation will not happen because Mark Carney and U.S. deal will collapse. U.S. needs Alberta's oil, and it really does not want Alberta to be independent. It wants the power to control it. 4, U.S. will have an invincible control of Canada and Greenland. 5, the East will depend on the U.S. dollar and its resources. This is, Paul, it's on you, man. I'm not taking credit for that one. That is so
That's
out there.
funny.
But we wanted to bookmark it, so you knew.
That's hilarious.
All right, let's keep rolling here. What else do we have on our plate? What was next? We talked about, I want to talk about Pierre Poilievre.
I want to show this clip.
Which clip is this?
It's the one I was just describing.
Sure. Pierre Poilievre, guys, we're going to get to this in a moment. Where are the Conservatives with the floor crossings, with the lack of the show up in the by-elections, and what does this mean for Pierre Poilievre? Love to know what you guys think as well. And I know obviously he had a resounding win at the Conservative convention with 87% plus, and that obviously speaks to still having party confidence, which really at the end of the day, all that matters. But this is something that my point is something's got to give, and I'm not saying it is the leadership, strategy, people behind the scenes. What's happening? Do you start to actually differentiate yourself where you are so different from the Liberal Party where you can act? Because right now there's a lot of crossover, right? So what's got to give? That's my question. What clip you got? Queued up here.
Here it is. This is the one I was just describing, but it's better said.
Zero attention to gas prices. Like, what am I going to do about it? Walk? People treat gas prices like it's information I can use. Like, hey, did you see gas went up again. Okay, and I still need to be somewhere. So that's it. Yeah, until walking everywhere becomes a realistic option, I'm not emotionally engaging with gas prices, okay? I'm participating and moving along.
I don't think gas prices are even real. I just think they move them around.
Yeah,
I think it's just a way that they make more money on it.
I know that it's it's like a tactic around elections.
Yeah.
If the gas is up 50 cents, which is a ton, that's $10.
Yeah.
I got energy to spend elsewhere.
Yeah, I like how he said it, emotionally engaging. I'm not emotionally engaged.
Have you seen gas prices?
Okay, well, those guys, just a little record, don't know what they're talking
no.
about. Right? It's not a tactic. It is supply and demand plus government taxes and all these other taxes that are on top of it. That's what moves prices. When you have the Strait of Hormuz that is a choke point for 20% of the daily oil movement in the world, that's going to create an issue with supply and demand. This is economics 101.
Yep.
Right? When supply goes down and demand stays the same or goes up, your prices go up because there's
Well,
more.
Pierre had some stuff to say about that in the House of Commons here. And so this is Carney and Pierre going back and forth about gas prices, actually.
I like that guy said, I still got to be somewhere, though. Like, that's kind of how it is. Like,
until walking's realistic.
30 cents higher, I still got to go there.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he follow our full plan to reduce gas prices by 25 cents a liter by getting rid of all the taxes for all the year?
What we are not doing is what the leader of the opposition is proposing, which is to substantially increase the deficit, something he's regularly against.
What he is not doing is increasing the deficit. It's only up by 100% since he took office, Mr. Speaker.
Anyway, so that was them going back and forth about the gas, because he was saying take off the excise tax, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And then he spun it about the deficit, to which obviously Pierre did. But again, it's just all these antics back and forth where it's like,
it doesn't really make a difference. Like, at the end of the day, you're pulling 10 cents off. Like, we're
25.
Okay, but we're still up 40,
100%.
cents.
I know. It's just grasping at straws.
Yeah, and we have real potential solutions. Like, if Carney was interested, here's a take, everybody. If Prime Minister Carney was interested in making Canada self-sustaining, like, no nation is pure self-sustaining. You have to have trade. But if you really wanted to make more independence where you're not dealing with as much world fluctuations, you start to look inwardly at what can our country produce, what can we provide ourselves, and what can we manufacture. It is the Trump approach for what he's doing. I'm not agreeing with every tactic he's done, but if he was interested in doing that, we'd be finding ways to do that when it comes to critical minerals, when it comes to oil and gas, when it comes to the Midland in Canada, when it comes to farming, everything we're doing, we've got a chance to actually create way more to make it self-sustaining. And also, obviously, increases the leverage to trade with other people.
For sure.
So if there is interest in that, he's got the tools, and now he's got the pathway in a majority to do that.
Yeah.
But if he's not, then there's other ulterior motives in terms of this idea of globalistic, more entrenched with EU, other
and
nations,
also
and all
dealing
that.
with the Alberta independence movement needs to be clear from the head of state, because it's not attractive to foreign investment. People are not wanting to bring money in when they're going, we don't even know if you guys are going to be a country together. So there's lots of uncertainty there. So, but again, no attention, he never addresses it. It's a huge issue, not just creating the environment for the economy to boom, but also dealing with the viewpoint from around the globe of what Canada's state is in. It's vague at best.
Here's a question. How's the MOU working out?
It's a great question. It's funny.
Somebody want to let us know? Maybe in the comments.
Mrs. Smith.
Have we seen action? Have we seen movement?
That's a great point.
Memorandum.
There's a reason why he got booed at the AGM. Everybody was just like, "What are you talking about? This has no validity to it, no stance. Not a stance. Just it has nothing to it."
Yep. Well, okay, so I'm not advocating at all Poilievre steps down. I don't think he's the guy. He has he's the guy. He has overwhelming support.
And something like, again, I've been saying this a lot, is the Conservatives got the highest turnout vote in the last election than the Conservatives have ever had, from what I understand. I believe that's correct. It was the high point.
100%.
So the collapse of the NDP was largely the reason why the Liberals got in. And then the majority is, as we've seen, is floor crossing. So it's not elected. So it's not a loss of confidence in the Conservative Party. In fact, they have the highest one of the highest, 87% in the party, and then also the highest turnout in the last election that the Conservatives have ever seen. It's not falling apart. Like it's so.
Okay, but that I agree with you. It's not falling apart. But I actually see it from the pessimistic side of they had the highest voter turnout for Conservative Party, and they still lost.
Again, if the NDP didn't fall apart, Conservatives would be in power.
I know, but conditions have changed.
No,
and
for
my
sure.
point, there's a lot of strategy.
Nobody saw that coming.
I know, but my concern is those conditions have forever changed.
100%.
Going forward.
Yeah, so the game is different.
It's not like we're going to go back and that next election, that turnout is going to get you a win. It is Conservatives and Pierre are going to have to ask the question, basically, can we expand beyond our already existing base in places that matter?
Yeah.
And this goes back to the argument of how our country is set up when it comes to voting, when it comes to ridings, when it comes to the West will complain about the elections already called in the East before it even gets to the West. Is it even possible of being a conservative? Because culturally, you see very different aspects, East and West Canada. And does Pierre and the Conservatives have to appeal more to liberal grounds, which means you're also changing the base of what it means? Like
the game has changed.
Conservatism is.
Yeah, the game has literally been changed. Cue the Alberta independence. That's just why it's symptomatic of all of this.
So, can the Conservative Party actually win an election again in Canada?
There's a lot of people saying no,
especially with changing demographics, the amount of immigration that's come in. We know that people who immigrate to Canada typically will vote towards a government that helps them immigrate to Canada and supports them.
I want to ask ChatGPT a question.
No, but that's a big question. Now, I think there's another argument to be made about not the Conservative Party, but about a party that is truly conservative in nature, conservatism in the political philosophy. Because I think you've got a huge portion of the country that believe and have forgotten what it truly means to be conservative.
Yep. No,
I want to read it in a second once you queue up, because I
totally
wrote up something the other day here. Do you have something you want to queue up? Or
I'm just looking to see. I just asked this question. I just want to see what it spits out here before I officially say it. I'm just looking at the rate of inflation and the rate of, as Pierre was saying, that since Carney has been in, the deficit is up 100%. So the question I asked is, at this rate of spending and inflation, if we can maintain, when does Canada potentially go bankrupt? At what year?
Yep.
And so I'm just going to read this here. Give me a sec.
Should I take the mic for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let me know right now in the comments. Let me know on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Paul, you can clip this and make it good. If this resonates with you, because I believe what I'm about to say, this is true conservatism as a political philosophy. And I bet you there are way more people that agree and feel at home with this type of thing. So true conservatism is fiscal responsibility, balanced budgets, lower taxes, getting government out of the way of people who want to build, invest, and succeed. It's personal responsibility over state dependency. It's law and order, the belief that safe communities are the foundation of free society. It's a principled foreign policy grounded in your own national interest, strong alliances, and belief that Canada must carry its weight in the world. It's respect for institutions, it's respect for the Constitution and for the rule of law. It's defending individual freedom against an ever-expanding state. See, these ideas, I truly believe, resonate with millions and millions of Canadians. And unless there is a party that not just says these things in slogans, but actually enacts and votes this way to make it party policy and eventually government Canada policy, you're not going to get a party that is going to move forward this way. I believe what I just read here, that's what I resonate with, all of that, right? Yeah. If you listen to this, it's personal responsibility over state dependency.
Absolutely.
How many people actually like that idea? This is back to the Bruce Party conversation. Yep. What does it mean to be truly free? Most
personal
people don't want to be.
Personal responsibility over state responsibility? Is that what you said?
Personal responsibility over state dependency.
Yes. I would agree with that. Dependency.
Yeah. But people want, think of the dependency people have on the state.
There's still some state involvement, but dependency means if you stop leaning, you fall. That's dependency. I'm dependent fully, like my children are, to live on me. So if I go missing and my money and my everything goes, my children will die. They have to find a new dependent. I can't. If somebody disagrees with that thinking, what are you talking about?
But most Canadians do disagree with that thinking.
Mad.
You think of all.
You think so?
Well, I'll prove it to you. Think of all the government programs that are small little stitches of connecting the individual to state dependency. You look at when it comes to $10 a day childcare.
Yeah.
So that is, even though people might sound good, that is a little bit more state dependency. You're requiring the state to actually pay the cost of your kids going that direction.
Let's micro that one situation.
And then multiply that to all the other things that when it comes to government payouts, when it comes to,
let's look at that situation though and look at what it could be. I would rather make more money. So I make more, I have more, I'm taxed less so that I can pay them out of my own pocket a livable amount of money. I know that the government is subsidizing, which is why it's $10. So again, that's inflation, that's debt. It's not sustainable in the big picture. So I would rather, if we make it so that the Canadians have more to spend, they have less tax coming off their paycheck, so that they can go and competitively find the best childcare for their kids. That's the opposition of it. That's the stripping away dependency, is that freedom of let the market be free, get the government hand out of the market, let the individuals choose what's the best product they want to pay their hard-earned money for. Less tax, less burden, more money in their pocket where they can actually go and spend and actually put fuel into the economy. Like more spending, like where people have more, they spend more, and then it's cycles. And so that's the situation of that micro example where I think it's just so backwards. Dependency is such a bizarre take. I unfortunately think you're right. I do think a lot of people think that way. But I want to try to model a life where I have less and less and less and less dependency on the government as much as I can. There are limits and reasons. Like I don't agree with Bruce Party on the extreme side of what he was saying. But also I can also understand it to an extent. Of course, roadways, of course, police and fire, aviation regulation, standardizing housing regulation, permits, mold standards, asbestos protections, et cetera, et cetera. You can go all day about all these things. There are benefits to some of these things. I agree. But when it comes to a free market, we need the market to be free. We need competitors to compete. They drive a better product. They drive prices down. Like even, for example, in just insurance, you look at the liquor monopoly in Manitoba, where it's the Manitoba Liquor Commission, where they're in a for-profit industry, taking the profits away from the individual. When I first moved here to Alberta, I bumped into a number of people who own these liquor marts and make incredible money and wealth, and then they pay people and spend money and buy housing and this, whereas the government isn't. They're taking it. It's just wild. But that's my whole opinion on getting away from dependency as much as we can.
Well, we're in a spiral of more and more dependency. Oh. And this is the problem when you see bigger government, you see more bureaucracy, when you see more government handouts, when all of a sudden elections come around and all of a sudden you're getting GST rebates or you're getting more child tax benefits or your healthcare, right? So my point is that, and this is going to hurt a lot of people because their thinking is, I need those things to live. But the problem is that's because we've created an environment where state is needed for you to live. Yeah. That's the very essence of the problem. Yeah. But in truer free markets, and I agree, I'm not a complete libertarian because I think that leads to chaos at the end of the day. Yep. But in terms of conservatism, of personal responsibility over state dependency, and majority of Canadians, you and I, we don't. Okay, you and I, the way we live, we don't depend on the state. If they pulled a lot of the things that we receive, because we do receive, we receive CCB child tax benefits for our kids, right? Healthcare is a state-dependent thing where we pay taxes, but it's still, most people are dependent on the state to get healthcare. If you ask that, people wouldn't be able to access healthcare. Mm-hmm. But the whole idea, and like maybe we're so far entrenched, you cannot reverse this whatsoever. We have created a situation in Canada where it is a list of like 40, 50 things long of GST rebates. Yeah. You think of it from cash to subsidies to healthcare to pharmacare to child daycare to the list can go on. Those are all little things that are connecting us to be dependent on the state.
Totally.
And that also, when that gets ingrained in our mentality, right?
Yep.
So
This is me. So I
digress.
got ChatGPT. I said, at this rate, when would we go bankrupt? And it says it's hard to project bankruptcy, obviously, but it's talking about when does the interest load of the deficit get to be very significant to the revenue that Canada
Are we not
brings in.
there yet?
No, it's 11% of our revenue right now, which is high. So it's in 2025, we bring in $494 billion. The interest is $55.6 billion. So again,
what do you mean we're bringing $494 billion?
They say the revenue in Canada is $494 billion in revenue on our budget.
Canadian GDP, or no? What is that?
So that's the revenue on the budget, I guess, is what they're calculating based off of. And so so the rates of that growth, though, is what I'm saying. So of the last 15 years, the rate of the deficit growth, just like Pierre was saying, 100% since he got in. At that rate, in 2030, it'll be 14% of revenue. 2050, it'll be 29% of revenue. 2060, it'll be 42% of revenue. Going to interest. Like, talk about burning billions of dollars. So the interest in 2050 at 29% is $381 billion. Again, they're also assuming the revenue continues to climb at the same rate so that they both keep going. I would imagine if interest is getting that heavy, that the revenue probably wouldn't be growing that much. But so that's in 2030. What year did I say it was? 2050. That's 24 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like that's our kids. That's how old's Gabe? That's when Gabe's 28 years old. 28 years old, Gabe. Your son, they're dealing with a 30% interest load on the revenue of Canada. They're saying the revenue would be $1.32 trillion by then if it grows at the same rate, and almost $400 billion to interest. So it's like we're burning cash at an unbelievable rate. So it's over $1 billion a day when he's 20.
That we don't have.
That we don't have.
Yeah.
It's just outrageous.
Did you see most recently, we're sending another 100, I want to find this.
I know that's all speculative. I get it. And you're like, well, that doesn't exist. I just get it. I'm just talking about, that number has to turn around. We have to lower inflation. We've got to get rid of this deficit.
Is it speculative though?
It's taking the current trends and just projecting.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But that's how you project. That's how you project where you're going to go. Okay, so but on that we just sent Anita Anand announced we just sent another $120 million to Sudan, because there's issues there. But at the same time, article on the same day, Canadian military personnel were left scrambling after cuts to out-of-country allowances. So at the same time, we have nonstop been sending. How many billions have we sent over to Ukraine? My point is, we are ignoring costs and issues at home. Again, I'm not all about printing money and sending it and just to cover, but we are sending money out that doesn't actually help the interest. Like, you got to get your house in order before you start helping other people's houses.
I know.
Otherwise, your house crashes and burns, and that's the place that we are currently in. Like, I don't know. This whole thing's a house of cards that we've been
since
building.
February 2022. Canada has given $25.5 billion to Ukraine. $25 billion. Insane.
We want to
insane amount of money. Like, I get it. We have to, like, there's people at war and need help. I just don't have any faith on the spending or how or way it's done at all. I would rather us send peacekeepers in to do the work, or send like incredible charities like Samaritan's Purse. I was actually just at an event yesterday looking at their capacity.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, 747s that fly, and they have a program called DART, Disaster Relief something. And they send 747s in with surgeons and set up tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 field hospitals. And in a matter of 48 hours, they can deploy full-fledged hospitals. I trust the spending of those types of charities far greater than I do any of the governments doing any of this stuff. The government is so inefficient in how they do things. All governments.
Totally. Where do you want to go next? We got a couple minutes left.
I don't know. I feel frustrated.
I want to get to Hungary.
Yeah, it's super cool. That's actually super optimistic. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for you podcasters who are listening audio only, you are going to hear a language you probably don't understand. So I'll interpret as we go after. But essentially, there's a new government that has been
elected.
Do it
with a Hungary accent?
No. I'm not even going to try. After 16 years, you have the existing government in Hungary, Orban, who is now gone. Yeah. I think what people are really starting to see, and it's funny, you're seeing Mark Carney, you're seeing Obama, you're seeing a lot of different leaders praise this is a win for democracy with a new leader coming in. And it's interesting what he has enacted on his first couple days. So
How many days has he been?
I think it disconnected. It's very recent in the last, for sure within the last week.
How does your iPad always disconnect?
I don't know. We're going to figure this
Mine's
out.
flawless.
Yep. So some of his first major moves, though. So Megars, I think I pronounce his name correctly. If someone on our producers can tell me correctly, if that's right. So basically, in his first couple moves that he's done as prime minister-elect, so I don't think he's actually taken office yet. But basically, their border is not strong enough. It's Hungarian first. It is the Trump approach of, for the people of Hungary, we are going to make it the best possible we can. 90% of the European Union demands, they're going to reject in their country. Ethnic Hungarian rights are prioritized. Wow. And also, I want to show this video in a second, it told the existing state media, the state-funded media, on air, live interview to their face that you guys are being defunded. That would be the equivalent of Prime Minister Mark Carney sitting down CBC.
Yeah, headquarters,
in the middle of an interview. I'm defunding you guys.
Yeah.
Your jobs are essentially done.
Yep.
So I want to find this clip because it is great. But this is the type of swing that we're starting to see, which is interesting in these strong approaches. We've always talked about the pendulum always swings, right? Yeah. And you saw the absolutely disastrous ideas that have come from the European Union, because obviously it's an elected body that essentially covers a lot of the country's issues when it comes to finance, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to all that.
This sounds a lot like El Salvador in what they did there. I don't know if people have go look into El Salvador. I don't know remember the guy's name, but
Milel. No, that's Argentina.
No, it starts with B. Anyway,
give us the name.
Yeah, if one of our producers can look up the El Salvadoran president, like again, a lot of people are going to disagree with what I'm about to say. Bukele, something like that.
Yeah.
Radical Christian. That's maybe a weird way to say it. No, I don't know. Extremely believes his Christian values need to be ingrained in the entire country. So he's kind of forcing his religion in. Again.
In terms of how the principles of how a nation is governed, is what you're saying?
No, like he's saying his cabinet needs to be Christian, born again believers. So like so radically stance in far as religious beliefs go and the church and state, especially when it comes to the Western worlds of what we believe and how it should be. And again, I think what we need to do is look at the proof in the pudding. The state and he's eliminated MS-13. They've increased revenues. They've cleaned up streets. It never used to be safe. It's now like when you look at the videos, again, if our team and our edit can find side-by-sides of El Salvador, again, I only think it was like 2 years ago versus now. They literally posted a whole video and you're just seeing it. It's wild. Tourism's up. People are traveling. I have friends who just went there and you could have never gone there. Like it was so bad before. Politicians and doctors had to have personal independent security because doctors would be assassinated and killed. Like it was just brutal. MS-13 is literally a Satan worshiping gang that does blood sacrifices and all sorts of insane stuff. Now has just been decimated and they're wiped clean. So again, sounds like a very similar situation here that might take place in Hungary. Curious.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead. I'm gonna translate as we go through, but you'll hear his voice and tone in the background. Because you guys were personally criticizing me, my family.
You want to turn yours down? Turn your iPad down?
And she says, we would not have done that on behalf of my colleagues. And then he goes, it has been said multiple times that my underage children do not talk to me and my family is broken. And for the first time in many weeks, it goes on. They're kind of going back and forth. She's defending. He says, I can tell you I have no personal resentment for you. This factory of lies will be put to an end after the formation of the TISA government. We will immediately suspend this deceitful service that is going on here, and we will create independent, objective, impartial conditions together with the parliamentary parties and other professional organizations, so that this propaganda that went on here, if you permit me, I'm going to finish. She goes, of course, seeing I've waited a few years for these few sentences, they're bickering a little bit. We will create the conditions for an independent, objective, and impartial media. We know there is no perfect media, but what has gone on here since 2010 which would have made Goebbels or the North Korean dictator lick their lips, that not a single true word was spoken. Certainly cannot continue. I see that since the Hungarian people changed the regime with an unprecedented mandate on the 12th of April, because never have so many people voted for a political community as they have now voted for TISA, around 3.3 million. By the way, we'll have at least 140 MPs in Parliament, maybe 142. I see there have been movements here since then, and for the first time in a year and a half, you broadcast one of my press conferences live. Look at that comment.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That
man needs protection.
So, and part of the problem...
Not because I overtly agree. I just mean like anybody who's going to bring that type of change to a system that's been that way for so long, for 16 years, they're going to...
Well, he tweeted down 2 days ago, I believe, that he is a picture of himself saying, "I have declined protection from the chief of police for myself because I will be governing," I'm paraphrasing, "I will be governing in a way that will not require protection. If people, I will be governing fairly and going to create conditions where people want to live freely. And if you are basically a good person, you'll have nothing to fear."
Yeah, but to the evil people, they don't play fairly.
No, of course not. So maybe it's a little... We'll see, but that's the stance he took. And thank you to all the service members. Anyway, it's just interesting seeing some of the swings that are going on. Again, that type of boldness, time will tell what actually happens, and if he hangs on to that path, or who knows, we've seen. But the thing that I wanted to take and transfer this to the U.S. and President Donald Trump is what people got sick of in Hungary, and what was the real issue for 16 years of the government that was there. It was clearly you got EU mandates and issues with Hungary and all the other European Union countries. But what really happened with Orban is it really became cronyism. The people around Orban, friends, family, people, were the ones who were getting rich and wealthy. And the Hungarian people and the citizens as a whole was getting worse and worse off. We might be seeing something similar in Canada.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm concerned. I'm saying you have to be watchful of, is that something that could be happening in the United States too? Because Orban kind of started off a similar way as Trump has, and maybe Trump stays the ship. But at the same time, and I've seen this, and I totally could see this being true, there is so much market manipulation and friends and people on the inside with inside information making a buck off of the giant ping pong comments of back and forth of peace deals, no peace deals. We're working towards this, and we're not. If you follow the market and market conditions, and you see the amount of options of calls and puts that are bought and sold one day out, which are high risk type of things, and hundreds of millions. My point is people have to be aware of that too, because there's no savior person. Every person is inherently flawed and has issues, and that's why you and I have a faith that you have to have a faith in something higher than ourselves, because us on our own with nothing higher than that, we resort to bad things naturally, especially when power is involved. So my point is, this is why we believe in strong citizenship, having strong principles, and I love what you're talking about, the guy in Argentina, right? And in terms of when you build and you try to have something that is higher than our own minds, hopefully keeps you on the straight and narrow. That's the thing to watch with guys who come in very strong power, very strong changes. Might be good at first, but hopefully they stay the path. That's the point of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I have a lot to say about that, but I find myself hesitant because,
I'm not casting. I'm just saying you have to watch out for it.
No, I know.
Right? I know, because I follow options, I follow calls, I follow this market quite closely, and you can see it's amazing. On this past weekend, Sunday, maybe it's a week and a half ago, when Trump talked about we are really close to a peace deal, but then all of a sudden they're not playing fair.
Did you see what was traded on the market?
That's what I'm getting to.
Oh, you're getting at that.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, there's an investigation.
1 day expiration on calls and puts, depending on the news that is about to come out.
I know.
It is. If you follow Unusual Whales, it's an account. They track this kind of stuff, and they show when you have got unusual option activity, meaning somebody would not risk that much money not knowing Trump's going to tweet.
Exactly. So essentially, I'll just make it super plain. Essentially, there's inside people who know what Trump might say or not, which will swing the entire market a huge way, and which is insider trading off the charts. profiting billions of dollars in a matter of 24 hours on some of these. So, and it's all trackable. You can find all the trades. And so if that's true, and again, I hope there's investigations for this stuff, because if there's actual stuff like that, that's just horrible. Horrible. It's taking advantage of the system. It's against the law. It's brutal. So I hope it's not true. But again, there's hopefully investigations on those types of things. But yeah, you're right. People are flawed and people are just crazy.
Well, let's end on this note. Mark Carney has been named as one of Time's most 100 influential people in the world. I don't remember the last time a Canadian politician was that. That's kind of a feat. So just wanted to throw that out
say
there.
that my filter kicked in on. I can't say it.
Nicknamed the George Clooney of finance, this rock star central banker is now turning heads
What?
as prime minister.
Look at his
Mark
resume
Carney
before this.
first
What are we
came to
talking
global
about?
fame during the 2008 financial crisis when, together with a small group of ambitious, highly skilled colleagues, he designed the regulatory framework that would define and strengthen banking and finance for decades.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, man. Lost.
Can you show that one? Are you still connected? Can you show that one photo we posted?
Yes, I can. Paul, can you
So,
text me our special
For those
photo
who don't know,
you created?
Trump got a lot of heat this week for posting a photo of where he looked like Jesus, laying hands on a guy, light beaming from his hands, and he looks like he's like healing a man. And so there was huge, obviously you can imagine, outrage from the Christian community, like in a huge way.
Mixed outrage.
Which is mixed, kind of. I feel like, again, it depends where you're looking. So like it's a lot of his base and so then they asked him in front of the White House, they were asking him a couple questions, and he was like, no, I wasn't Jesus, only the fake news could say it was Jesus, and which again just seems like he's dodging. And because I don't know how you don't think you look like Jesus in this, because he's got a red robe on. Anyway, so he said he was a healer because he's healing the nation of USA, and so I was like, okay. Anyway, it just seems so out of touch, and it just seems so insulting. It's like Christian community calling it blasphemy, which it looks like that's exactly what it is. So that's that.
Franklin Graham came out today and defended him.
You're right.
Yeah.
What did he say? You know? Ballpark?
Yeah, I'll have to read it. He essentially said, I don't see images of crosses, and I believe Trump when he says it, he thought he was a doctor.
See, that's the real question. Do you
healing
believe Trump?
someone and all that stuff. And then you got different pastors asking him to apologize. And it's just, I chalk it up as, I just expect that kind of stuff from Trump.
That's exactly it. It's
I'm not surprised by that. You can tell he loves to play into it. There probably is a bit of a messianic complex there. Not saying he's the actual Messiah, but he is the savior of the United States, as he talked about. Like he's going to save the direction it would have burned if he hadn't taken office.
I think there's also a hunger for attention of that. I don't think we can understand.
I think so
because
he has.
No, I know, but if ever there's world events that seem to be happening anywhere else, he does something. Like if you look at the timing of it all, he does something. Boom, back up. Trump everywhere.
So this is what Franklin Graham said. If you're not familiar with Franklin Graham, it is Billy Graham, which you should be familiar with. Yeah, Billy Graham's son, and he's amazing. I do not believe President Trump would knowingly depict himself as Jesus Christ. That would certainly be inappropriate. I'm thankful the president has made it very clear that this was not at all what he thought the AI-generated image was representing. He thought it was a doctor helping someone. When he learned of the concerns, he immediately removed the post. When I look at the illustration, I didn't jump to the same conclusion as some. There was no spiritual references, no halo, there's no crosses, no angels. It was a flag, soldiers, a nurse, fighter planes, eagles, a Statue of Liberty, and I think this has a lot to do about nothing. There's so much ill-intended speculation. I think his enemies are always foaming at the mouth at any possible opportunity to make him look bad. He goes on to say. Anyways, we had a little bit of fun with it. I'm trying to find the image. Paul, if you texted that yet, where is it in our text chat, Jer, or should I just...
Of what, that photo?
Yeah, the one that we made. We made a fun one.
I have it here.
Okay, pull it up. Throw it up there. So here's a good one. We have insider knowledge about Trump's next major move on the war of Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. And let me know when you're ready, Jer.
It's just spinning wheel. Should we just play the Jeopardy music?
Play the Jeopardy music. Hit it, Paul. Get off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, cast it. I was enjoying that silence. Wait, there you go.
There we go.
There it is.
Here's his next major move. Trump, next plan to open the Strait of Hormuz. Let my tankers go.
Like, man. It's just hilarious. It's just hilarious.
We're wrapping it up.
For those who don't know the story of Moses, go read it in the Bible. It's there.
Got an Exodus.
You'll learn what this means.
Alrighty, guys. See you next week.
What a week.
Got some great guests coming up over the next several months. Looking forward to it. as we keep tackling everything that's happening in Canada. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, hit us up in the comments.
Share.
I've been inviting lately on YouTube comments when people give you and I like serious insults. I'm inviting them to come on the show.
Are there serious insults?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And I'll say, hey, I'd love to hear your perspective face to face. Or like if you're in Calgary,
keyboard
great,
warriors, man.
or we're gonna get you on the show. That is open for
Can
you.
we make
just
a
so
list
you know
of the serious insults? Sorry,
yeah, not one person has actually said I would love to come and like they either think we're stupid or you're idiots or
hey,
that
not
kind of
pretending
stuff,
to
right?
not be stupid.
I'll take it, but I'm just saying, not one person
I'm not
has
saying
yet
we're geniuses,
accepted
guys.
the invite. We'll send you a link. We'll get you hooked up on Riverside. You will come join us on the show. You'll have 5 minutes to tell us how dumb we are. We're not going to chop back at you. We're just going to have a fun
regular
conversation.
citizens
100%.
talking about how it's affecting our lives.
100%.
End of story.
100%.
Not pretending to be the geniuses that we like. Not at all. Not even close.
Open the floodgates. I want to talk to more people. Maybe that should be a regular part of our show.
I would
We
love
get
to
the
read
average Joe
the
Blow
insults.
across Canada. You join us, love us, you hate us. We'll take it. If you want to go after us, we'll just sit here and smile at you.
It usually means you're doing something. It's a badge of honor.
Done. The show goes on.
I want to frame some of them. Show goes on.
See you guys next time.